let's dip into the, prediction XI for tomorrow. What are you,
Cool.
what are you thinking about starting XI for tomorrow?
Uh, you, I've got a couple of ideas. As you mentioned before, I want to integrate some of the players that were there in the group stage quite consistently and integrate them into the starting 11 tomorrow
Yeah,
because I feel they deserve an opportunity to go out there, have an opportunity to perform. If we're starting from the goalkeeping position, I don't think it really matters which goalkeeper we have in between the sticks tomorrow because either one should be able to pull off a job against a team like Legia Warsaw.
yeah.
However,
But
uh,
I think it's fair enough to start judging Sin tomorrow. To be honest.
yeah, I think it will be Jorgensen because if Sanchez has been starting the last few Premier League games
Yeah,
and the way Maresca's going, like one keeper plays the Premier League matches, one keeper plays the Conference League matches, I
yeah,
think it's a safe bet to say Jorgensen starts in goal. Um, I think he is definitely the better option out of the two keepers we have. Um, Moving into right back, I wouldn't play Reece James tomorrow
yeah,
just because save him for the Premier League games. Like when we talk about rotation and stuff, Reece James is one of those players that we should rotate,
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
manage the workload, not overload him because he's one of those players that can break down quite easily.
Hmm.
I would save him because he does show his quality, and I would start him definitely at right back, not what we saw against Brentford playing resting Reece James and then playing him at left back. That made no sense to me. But I would save Reece James for the weekend, and I think Gusto's been a bit shaky in recent weeks, so I wouldn't play him specifically in this game. What I would like to see is Josh Achempong
Chipong.
be
Oh yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah,
be start because he when he broke into the team around about the group stages,
yeah,
he showed a lot of quality. He's got some Premier League experience this season. He looks like a quality right back, so I would stick Josh Chempong on the right, give Reece James and Gusto some rest, get them out of the squad. And then at centre backs, I think Tosin goes into the 11 for me because he's always been there as like sort of the backup. He's one of those players that has experience. He's one of the senior members in the squad, so we need a bit of experience in the back line, especially, and in the squad to take the game with charge. And then next to him, to be honest, I think you could go for either one of Colwill or Chalobah, but I'd say probably stick Colwill in for this game just because Chalobah's been playing a lot recently. He's played the last two Premier League games, but
yeah,
I wouldn't be against having a centre back partnership of Chalobah and Tosin, although Tosin and Colwill can also work. And then I think at left back we haven't really got much option. We have to stick Mark Cucurella
yeah.
over there because we don't have any other left back. I don't want to see Gusto playing left back or Reece James playing left back because that just doesn't make any sense to me. Like play the players in the position where it works. Um, and Cucurella has shown consistency in the group stages. He was playing Premier League games and Conference League matches as well. So that's the back line I would stick with tomorrow.
Yeah, so for me, I was like, I'm trying to, think and switch things off because when you look at the current form and what we've got, and I think tomorrow, I'm not expecting Chaluba to play tomorrow due to the Premier League games. We don't
Yeah,
have Fofana available, so we need to
absolutely.
save Chaluba, ahead of, you know, the rest of the Premier League games. We still have Ipswich coming on, loads of game coming up. So I would prefer to, keep Chaloba away from the squad tomorrow. Well, what I'm thinking is, there's another, kind of sort of ways we can be flexible tomorrow. We can start with, three solid defenders. Achepong,
Yeah,
Tosin is the man of the Conference League. Is
yeah,
been pushing us
absolutely.
from the way back from the group stage. This guy has been amazing. I think he's our best defender in terms of Conference League.
Yeah,
He has scored two
absolutely.
goals. I think he scored two
Yeah,
goals. Yeah,
but
so I'll stitch with him. I'll have Achepong, Tosin and Badiashile because of course,
mm,
it's not been really involving much recently. So I think it's time for him to
yeah,
step up tomorrow.
yeah. I think I completely forgot about Badia Shield, but I
Yeah,
think because the Premier League games he shows moments of like inexperience or bits of nervousness.
yeah.
So I think tomorrow night's match should be perfect opportunity for Badia Shield to go in and
Yeah,
show.
so I'm sticking
Look,
with that kind of back three. Then I would because I want Cucurella on the bench as well because when you look at he's just a kind of a player that we don't have a replacement for. So we have to be extra careful whenever
absolutely.
we've got the chance to put him on the bench. He has to be on the bench. So I think we can stick with it I mean back three. Then Badiashile can play as a left back kind of. Then we
Yeah,
can have Gusto to invert from the number two. Then I probably think that's something that's kind of might probably work hard for us tomorrow just to be able to rest some important players like Chaloba and Cucurella. We don't want a situation whereby he's gonna get involved tomorrow and we have to struggle to look for something. I mean, because recently we've seen the kind of what Mariska is trying to do, bringing Rhys James into the left back, which
yeah,
is not, it's not what we want to see, to be honest. And
exactly.
so it's not what we want to see. We want Cucurella to finish the season, absolutely. So I would be very careful in terms of introducing him to Conference League, because we're still a little bit far away. We're in quarterfinal now. We still have semi-finals to play. We still have finals to play if we proceed. So
Exactly.
I'll kind of sweep things off tomorrow. Have three back. I mean Achipong, Colwill of course, and Badiashile. Then I will have Gusto and the right back just for him to invert from there. So yeah,
That's a solid formation. I think we've been reluctant in recent times to stick three at the back, but I think three at the back would definitely suit the B squad a lot more. I
yeah,
think someone like a Badia Shield looks a lot more comfortable when he's got more support alongside him, and
yeah,
we normally see the best out of Badia Shield when there's a back three. I'm I just I would play that because, as you said, it's important for Cucurella to get some rest.
yeah,
Uh, tomorrow night's match is not really the kind of match where we need to see Cucurella in the squad.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
uh, based on just how the season's gone, I I would be all for it having three at the back. I just don't think it's going to happen because Maresca has
yeah,
not. Uh,
yeah,
Maresca's never elected for three at the back, and our
yeah,
recent managers haven't wanted to adopt that formation. So a part of me thinks that's not necessarily going to happen, but I wouldn't be against that idea because we've performed well when we've had three at the back.
yeah. So let's move to the midfield.
Yeah,
So I
uh,
personally think like tomorrow is another game. We don't have any, kind of strong replacement for Casado. Unfortunately,
yeah,
we have to start him tomorrow. But you know, I do believe that I mean, there's another tricky thing we can do amidst of Casado. We've seen Enzo Fernandez playing from the CDM last season. It's not a new thing. Sometimes
yeah,
he can do better, and the fact that he's one of the most reliable, player we've got in Chelsea. I can bet he's gonna play there. He's gonna play until the end of the season.
yeah,
He's gonna be injury free. I know Enzo Fernandez is a top
yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
So I think tomorrow we can switch things off. Casado needs to be on the. I don't know what he's gonna do, but I felt for this guy. The fact that he's not an injury prone player, we should consider the fact that he needs some rest as well.
Yeah.
And the reality
Um,
is we've got United and Liverpool coming on. I don't want to risk those games because at that point
absolutely.
things are gonna be tight, and we need those points. A draw, something. We just need something out of those games, and we really need this guy to be in that games. So probably think tomorrow we can switch things around. Enzo Fernandez can start from the CDM, kind of, you know.
Yeah.
So then we can have, of course, Palmer can start tomorrow. There's no reason to put him on the bench. We're still looking for him to get, you know, to get a
Some
goal,
contribution.
get more contributions. So I would stitch with kind of like Enzo Fernandez, you know, I'll stitch with Palmer, and of course, Dewsbury Hall. You know, it's been
Yeah.
amazing, amazing in the past two games. You know, it's been one of, I mean, a super sub for us. I wouldn't lie to you, but that kind of a, I mean, three midfielder is something that we can consider tomorrow. Enzo Fernandez, Cole Palmer, and of course, Dewsbury Hall. So I don't know what you're thinking about.
Um, I agree with you on the on a lot of fronts with that midfield. I think w- uh, we're going to see a lot of Caicedo and Enzo in the final run up to the end of the season, and
Yeah,
I think we've left ourselves in that position because we haven't really left ourselves with any cover for either of them two.
yeah,
We've seen that Lavia just hasn't been fit enough to
yeah,
be in the squad, and at times in the season we've missed him. I would actually be a bit reluctant to play Caicedo tomorrow because Caicedo is a machine.
yeah,
He's been consistent. He's been there the entire season, and he calls upon when relied upon. But I think if we can get away without having to utilize Caicedo tomorrow, I would go for it simply because he's had some injury concerns in the game against Spurs. I think
yeah, yeah,
he limped off quite early on.
yeah,
Luckily for us, he powered through the entire game, but I
yeah,
wouldn't want to play him or risk him, a week after against a team like Legia Warsaw where we don't really need Caicedo
yeah.
in the middle of that
Hmm.
midfield. So the midfield three I was thinking of, like, yes, Cole Palmer, I wouldn't be against him starting either because this would be a good game for him to build on his form, get some
Yeah,
goals, get some assists, build some confidence. But again, I think Cole Palmer, having come back from muscle fatigue, we should really manage his minutes as well. I completely forgot about this guy, but I think um, we we brought him in January for a reason, and it's a Mugu.
oh
This
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah,
the the
definitely,
C,
definitely, yeah,
this
yeah.
the CDM that we brought in from France.
I
But
almost
I
forgot about him,
yeah,
mate.
yeah, I forgot about him because
Yeah,
we signed him even though we had Andre Santos out on loan, and we should, in my opinion, we should have recalled him, but we can't go in the past, and it wasn't up to us. We didn't make that decision, but uh, I would put Amugu in the midfield because
yeah,
again, tomorrow night should be a no pressure situation.
yeah,
We've
honestly,
still
yeah,
got a second leg, even if the most a horrific result comes out of it. We've still got the home leg against Stamford Bridge the week later. So I'd stick a Mugu in the midfield. And then I would put Dewsbury Hall next to him. And I'd like to see Enzo Fernandez advance a bit more in that number eight role, like
yeah,
he plays for Argentina. But at the same time, I feel uh, like him and Dewsbury Hall could interchange a bit because Dewsbury Hall has silently, I'm not saying he's been one of our best midfielders. He
yeah,
he did get a goal in the last round.
yeah.
Let's not forget.
Hmm.
But he's also shown some good defensive capabilities as well. So it'd be good for him and Enzo Fernandez to switch, have both have opportunities to attack, push towards the goal, and I think a midfield three of those three should should have the quality enough to beat the opposition that we have in
Yeah,
in front of
absolutely.
us.
Yeah, that was solid, man. I forgot about Mogo, to be honest, and
Yeah,
yeah, I totally agree with you. What you said is, yeah, something we can stitch with tomorrow, and I know it's just like a fresh leg into the midfield. You know, when you have Omogu and Gisbury all starting, looks totally something fresh, and I mean, it's just a high time for them to prove themselves. I will be very, very happy
absolutely,
to see something like that tomorrow because you know
absolutely.
they need to step up as well. We can't, sign a player and always put him on the bench. So let's move to the to the forward and what you.
Yeah. So moving into like the more advancing positions, on the right hand side, I think Madueke should go in.
Mm,
He's working back his fitness. He's coming back from injury. He had a cameo where he had some bright moments against
Yeah,
Spurs. Uh, on the weekend, he didn't quite seem up to the pace of the Premier League, but to be fair, the whole squad just wasn't up to scratch. So I would stick Madueke on the right. This should be like a low intensity game for him, a good opportunity to like recoup some of that form that we saw before he got injured. Uh, he he is direct. He does like to push up. He does like to get goals. So against this sort of opposition, I look at the squad and I'm like, if we want to rest players like Palmer and Nicholas Jackson and players like that, because spoiler alert, I'm not sticking Nicholas Jackson up top. I think it's one of those games where we don't need to stick him up top.
yeah, absolutely.
But I I look at I l- I look at the tie and I'm like, where's the goals coming from? So that's why I'd stick Madueke on the right, because he's got that eye for goal. He's more direct, and this is a good opportunity for him to come back from injury and recoup some of that form.
Yeah,
And then on the left, there's a bit of a debate. We could go with Pedro Neto, which it arguably has been one of our better wingers
yeah,
in recent weeks. But again, I don't see the need to like force him into the squad where it's not necessary. I would, I to be fair, in the first half, I would like to see Tyreek George play. Um, I would like to see Tyreek George play in this match because again, it's low pressure. Let's get some of the boys we had in from the group stage, get them attacking or something. And if we do need to replace him with someone, like if he can't hold the full 90 or whatever, I'd probably bring on someone like a Jadon Sancho, even though he hasn't been on the best run of form. This would be a good opportunity for him to get some minutes in against like lower level opposition, get some minutes in, try and recoup some of that form we saw at the beginning of the
yeah,
season, and see whether he's up to the races. But simply based on his recent form, I would probably start with Terry George on the left. And then up top, I don't really, even though he should realistically do a job against a lower level opposition like Warsaw, I don't want to see Nkunku at the number nine. I feel he'll be too
yeah.
lethargic, too lazy. He won't bring us that intensity, which I think we should start the game off with. So I would actually start Shim Mueka up top because
Oh, Moika.
again,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Right.
because he's the young lad. He's had some minutes in the group stages. He got some minutes against Copenhagen. He's looked bright. He's got a bit more of a point to prove at the moment than someone like Nkunku.
Yeah,
I wouldn't start Jackson simply because he's coming back from injury. We need
yeah,
Jackson in the Premier League.
yeah.
We
Absolutely. Yeah,
don't even have Mark Hugh, so I would stick Moeka up top. And if more like the game's a bit much for him or the atmosphere is a bit much for him, we always have like half time, we have the second leg as like the utmost fail-safe, but I would start him up top and see what he could do.
yeah. So that's a very solid. I mean, three front side, but I was like, I definitely agree with you on Madueke. He needs to come in tomorrow. We're trying to get him back on a top form. So tomorrow might be a good game for him to, to get a goal or assist and, yeah. But from the right side, I think it's a tough one because what I'm thinking is for the player like Sancho, with his current situation with Chelsea, we we are in, I mean, assessing period for Jordan Sancho. We're
Yeah,
trying to assess him. We're trying to see if he's a kind of a player that we might
we
gamble on,
need,
we need, or we can gamble on signing
but
or whatever. So I'm realistically thinking tomorrow Sancho should start. If we
yeah,
are deliberately looking at him as a kind of a player that we want to sign. So because he has, probably one, two, three, four, five. Around 12 games more to prove himself. If we
yeah.
get to the Conference League
If
final, you know. So,
if the rumors are true,
yeah,
with like some of the reports that have come out this week, the final run up to the end of the season apparently is the make or break for Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
If
So
he
yeah,
can deliver on what we thought we were going to get when we signed
yeah,
him
yeah,
and what we saw in the first half of the season, if we get that sort of return,
yeah.
it looks like Sancho's staying. If not, they're going to send it back to United.
Yeah. So I
And
personally think a game like tomorrow will be fair enough to, give him a chance,
yeah,
playing against a lower team side, no too much of competition, and I think it will be fair enough to get him on
yeah,
board tomorrow and see what he can,
yeah.
offer, I
I
feel that way. It is unfair on Tariq George because to be honest, it's been great from the group stage. It's been doing a
yeah,
lot of a lot of job from the group stage, but I feel that at the moment Sancho needs momentum, needs those time more than forever. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow if I see Sancho starting from the left flank, maybe just because of the reasons of what we've just said. So, but if he starting job tomorrow, it's definitely worth it. This guy is amazing.
yeah.
We know his ability. He doesn't joke around. He's one of the players that, to me, I would say is just that kind of a player that press a lot. Is that for his age, is just one of the best winger we've got this season. But the fact that
Absolutely.
we cannot rush him into the XI is
Yeah.
just unbelievable. So I
We've we've
mean,
def we've definitely got a serious talent on our hands with someone like Tyreek George.
yeah,
He's got ability, he's got flair, he's got really good attributes from a winger that we want, and he's definitely one of our bright young youth prospects. But what I don't want us to do is rush him into the starting 11, even
yeah,
though I think like a game against Warsaw is a perfect opportunity for him to continue what we saw of him in the group stage,
yeah,
continue delivering. But for like the rest of the season, including the Premier League matches, I don't want us to constantly throw George into the lineups to the
yeah,
point where we're relying on him because I
yeah,
think that's unfair on the individual
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's going to stunt his own development.
absolutely. Yeah. So from the top nine, I think it's hard to put Kunkunku on the bench because people are kind of not interested in seeing him on the pitch because the realistically is being lazy. Is people just need some kind of effort from you. You are that kind of a
To
top player from Leipzig, and people are expecting. People are expecting moment from you, and then make something happen.
to
You have the ability to do a lot of things, but to me,
to
it
be
looks like
to
it's
be
totally out of. Yeah,
Yeah, I've been heavily disappointed in Nkunku this season. I thought he was a good player when we saw him return from injury at the end of this time last season. He showed a lot of bright moments. He got important goals for us against teams like Brighton, and in matches like that, he had a decent preseason as well.
yeah,
I've just been really disappointed with his attitude because
yeah,
I get it that your preferred position, which is where Palmer's predominantly been the entire season, you haven't been able to play in that position, and you've been constantly been played out of position, like in the striker, like at left wing, where it's not ideal for you. You don't want to play there.
yeah,
But it, the problem for me with Nkunku is more so the attitude thing.
yeah,
Um,
sort of,
the
yeah,
fact that when he doesn't get what he wants, he's just been lethargic. He realized that he couldn't get ahead of Palmer. Then there was reports coming out that he wasn't happy that he was getting benched for Nicholas Jackson, even though at the time Jackson was performing, getting goals, and
yeah.
we were like, okay, how do we justify dropping someone who's scoring goals
He's
and
on
putting
form,
Kunku in?
yeah,
Uh, and then it just so happened that Jackson got injured, and Nkunku was the natural replacement for that,
yeah,
and Nkunku never stepped up to the plate.
yeah,
So I've been again in in the run up to the season, as much as I do want Nkunku to turn around, prove a point, prove that this is why we signed him in the first place. I just don't think we're going to get that. And for a guy who wanted to leave in January, I don't know why we're consistently playing him. knowing that he already has one foot out the door
Yeah,
from Chelsea anyway. So that's why I wouldn't start him tomorrow night. I think someone like Mweka deserves more credit, deserves has a lot more to prove than someone like Nkunku. But even when talking about Nkunku, I'm disappointed in his attitude because if you really do want to force a move away, who, which other team is looking at you performing like this
you know,
with the
with
attitude issue?
attitude of yeah,
Like
yeah,
you, there was rumors back in January that Bayern Munich wanted him.
yeah.
Bayern Munich have a front line, and yes, they didn't get the result last night, but they've got a front line of Harry Kane, who's it's going to be hard
Jamal
to drop that.
Musiala,
Jamal Musiala,
Elise,
Elise,
Nabry. I don't know
yeah,
how he's gonna,
players like that.
break into that
You know,
squad.
if you have an attitude issue at Chelsea where you're not getting your ideal position, and when you are being given the opportunity, why would a team like Bayern then look at you and be like, "Oh yeah, Nkunku
It's
is
the
the
right
solution
choice.
to our problems,"
Yeah,
when they've got a young and developing front line of their own.
yeah,
So I'm a bit confused with that side of his attitude as well, because I think when you get given opportunities against teams like Brentford, at least showcase to Maresca what Maresca's missing out on, but also if you do have one foot out the door, showcase to your prospective employers
yeah. Of
or
course, yeah,
prospective clubs that want to sign you
yeah,
that I'm a player worth having. But he's not doing that, so I just think when if he doesn't get his act together, or if a big team doesn't come in, we could be stuck with a Lukaku situation
yeah.
again,
Of course,
where
absolutely, yeah,
where
yeah,
Lukaku really did also have a stinking attitude. He
absolutely, yeah,
stunk up the gaff a lot.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so
He's one of the worst signing Chelsea have ever had.
yeah, you know,
Looking back,
in retrospect, because we did spend about 100 million on him,
yeah,
he had a good start to his Chelsea career, and then the attitude just sunk. And then the problem was like we saw what he was doing when he went to teams like Inter,
yeah,
and then he was performing well for Inter, and at the end of the season, he was just giving it to the Inter fans. He was giving it to Inter. He wasn't really performing for the badge. He was like blowing up all his bridges, and I feel like that's something that I see in Nkunku now as well.
yeah,
That you haven't got a solid other option at the moment because concretely no other team has really come in for you.
yeah. Because
Uh,
you know,
and you're sort of stinking up the gaff at Chelsea, you're blowing up that bridge, but you're not really creating another opportunity for yourself. So I don't really understand that mindset. I get it; it's frustrating. A lot of players have, played out of position. Gusto is a prime example of that because I've
yeah.
seen him play right back, I've seen him play left back, I've seen him invert into midfield
I
when
mean,
Cook.
what should we say about Pedro Neto? This guy has been
Yeah,
playing.
Ped,
I mean, he's been
Ped,
playing
Ped,
back to back games without
Pedro,
same
Pedro
position. He's
Neto,
been,
when we had
you
the
know,
injury crisis, he was playing back-to-back matches. He was playing on the right wing. I've seen him play on the left wing. I've
playing
seen
as
him
a
play up
striker.
top. Yeah.
That's
So,
your job, man.
even though like we haven't seen the levels from Pedro Neto that we did see from him at Wolves, one
Yeah,
thing is when I do see him in the starting 11, I know he gives it his all effort.
yeah.
And
He's ready to fight.
you know, he's ready to fight. He hasn't got the perfect game, but he would have done so much better if he had like a consistent position with a consistent run of matches. But
Yeah,
also, he has put in some dangerous balls into the box and stuff, and all we've needed on the end of that is that prolific number nine that can just get their head on it or their foot on it,
yeah,
and we would be talking about a completely different season for Pedro Neto with the assist tally racking up. So, but again, even though he's been playing out of position, he's been playing at striker, he's been playing on the right and the left.
yeah,
We've never come after a game and been like, Neto, your attitude stinks.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, or
Yeah,
Neto, you didn't try. Like, yeah, it was frustrating that you missed a chance, or it was frustrating that you didn't play that pass, or it's frustrating that you couldn't get into the match like you did
the last
in
time.
your time at Wolves.
Yeah,
But he does give effort, and that's just something I can't say the same for Nkunku.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Dan. We've had a lot of
No problem.
conversation. So what's your match? I mean, what's your score prediction for tomorrow?
Uh, you know what? I don't think, based on the way we played recently, that we're going to blow them away with goals, but I would say a, s- a solid 2 or 3 nil. If we get a 2 or 3 nil result tomorrow, I would be more than happy because it's something to build on. In the second leg, we would have kept a clean sheet, and we would have scored some goals to build on for the Premier League as well.
Right. So tomorrow, I don't see. I mean, I don't see us going away without. I mean, with a clean sheet, to be honest, because it's hard to see that. I mean, past 2 3 away games in the Conference League, I think we've conceded. So tomorrow I'm stitching with a kind of a result of 3-1, 4-1.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see us conceding a goal, but I see
yeah,
us really,
uh,
really scoring
yeah. The
more
thing
goals tomorrow, to be honest.
Yeah. The thing with us is you can never rule out conceding a goal, which probably could happen. But I hope that from the attacking front we do get some goals in, just so that the team can build up some confidence
Yeah, absolutely.
for the Premier League matches.